Hey everyone, hello everyone, how is everyone doing? Hopefully you can hear me. If you can go ahead and in the chat, kind of like write about where you're logging in, where did you hear about this uh, Ask Me Anything live stream? Where are you logging in from? Which region? That will be great. Hello, Gabriel. All right. All right, let me go ahead and first uh, just make sure that I put something online. Let's see. All right. Oops. Oh, that is. Wellington, DE from Montreal, Canada. Okay. I am logging in from Houston, Texas. Weather now is getting better actually. It's not as hot. So weather is definitely getting better. All right. So go ahead and yeah, whenever you're ready, you can ask any questions. I can help you out. uh, Oslo, but mainly from Poland. Uh, type Sun, Oslo, Norway. Okay, great. Oh, thank you. You're welcome, Gabriel. Yep. I just submitted, well, completed the Superbase course. So let me go ahead and get started over here. If you don't know me, my name is Mohammad Azam. I am a coding bootcamp instructor. That's my day job. And I teach web development like React, Node, Express, Postgres, SQL, MongoDB. But right now I'm teaching AI machine learning using Python. On the side, I do iOS development. I write articles, so you can check out my articles. You can go to my website, azamsharp.com. You can check out the articles. I also have a YouTube channel, which you are already know about because you're on YouTube. Apart from that, I also do courses. They are hosted on a different website, azamsharp.school. This is where I host all of my courses. So you can pretty much get any course that you're looking for regarding iOS development. Like I just published this Superbase course right there, and it still shows the early bird pricing, which is 89, but that should be only for a couple of days. After Friday, it's going to raise to 149. But if you're looking for a Superbase course, this is just published. I think I just published it like yesterday. I completed it. Apart from that, Swift data course, and you can see there's a huge list of courses. It just goes on forever. And apart from that, I do host workshops. These are 3 hour workshops that I host. And you can see all of these workshops available, and you can enroll in them also. So that's a little bit about myself. I'm going to go back over here, and yeah, I'm here for your questions. If you have any questions regarding iOS development, Swift UI, you can uh, you can ask those questions. Um, Navigation in Swift UI. I actually just published a brand new video on navigation, which is on my YouTube channel. Let me actually see if I can. I'll have to find that video. Navigation, not really navigation patterns, but I published a brand new video on navigation. Let me actually skip the screen and go there. Let's see over here. I think it's called building. Yeah, this one. So this is a brand new video I just published. Building better navigation in Swift UI. I can share this video with you. All right, let's see. Um, This is navigation YouTube. Well, navigation video. So Gabriel is asking, what is the course that you feel most proud of and why? Wow, what is the course of? I have to look at my courses now because there's so many. Um, hmm. I think I really like this full stack iOS development bootcamp course because deep down I am kind of like a backend developer. Even with the ASP.NET MVC, Node.js, I enjoy backend much more than the front end part of it. So I enjoyed working with Vapor. Uh, that is definitely one of the cores that I enjoyed building. And I think it's also important, and it's very important for developers also to learn backend development, iOS developers. Now they can use um, any backend system or any backend framework that they want. They don't have to use Vapor. You can use Node.js. I actually like Node.js and Express.js. So if I have to build a backend, I'll probably use Express.js because that's what I'm comfortable with. But if you want to live in the world of iOS and Swift, then Vapor is also a great uh, alternative solution for you. So I think that course really was fun to make. All right. And then Sergio is asking, I coded app, I need help to improve it. Do you do that service? I mean, review the code and improve it. So I don't really do those refactorings or kind of like a review of the code, but you know what? You can always go to ChatGPT and ask it to review it. Now you don't have to accept everything ChatGPT is saying, but we can always review the code. So let me give you an example. If I can find a good example, let's say I'm going to pick up some. The problem is that it's going to take a while to open up any of this stuff. Let me just open it in Visual Studio Code. All right. Yeah, I don't really have that much code over here. You can see that I have some code over here. Let's say that I've written some code like this. All right. And this is just an example, obviously. And this code looks, I mean, okay to me, right? I mean, the ChatGPT might come up and say some other stuff, but I can always go to ChatGPT and I can say, refactor this code, and I can just paste the code. Now, obviously, this code is just kind of like really small, so it's not really going to do much refactoring, as you can see, but you can always paste your code over here or even functions, and ChatGPT can come up with pretty good answers. You don't have to use all of those answers. You still have to, use your logic to, okay, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense. So you can definitely do that. But ChatGPT, I always use ChatGPT to kind of like refactor my code. I don't blindly select all of this refactoring that the ChatGPT has done for me. I still look at it and I'm like, okay, okay, that's fine. So, but sometimes it actually produces really good results. I don't know if I can actually, I don't have the code right now to show you, but let's see. Because most of my code is already went through the ChatGPT thing. So if I go over here, okay, yeah, let's say, yeah, again, this is not even the code that you're looking for. Yeah, you have to get like a really chunk of code that you can actually make it nicer. Yeah, but you get the idea, hopefully, right? Let's say if there's a value transformer. I mean, again, this is pretty simple code. I don't think it's going to get us any refactoring over here. I mean, it's pretty straightforward stuff. I don't know what it's going to suggest even at this point. Okay. I guess it didn't really do much refactoring. Okay, it did a little bit refactoring instead of, okay, yeah, that's good. I should have probably done it that way. See that? Instead of try and catch, but what I'm doing in the catch is returning nil, which doesn't make any sense. You can see it is doing try question mark optional. So if it fails, it's just going to return me nil. I think that's much better code. What do you think? Right? ChatGPT came up with a little bit better approach than what I was doing. See that? You can see it live. My code is the code that I wrote. It can be done much better with the ChatGPT approach. So we just did it like live on the on the live stream. All right. Okay. Mohit Gupta is asking, hi Azam, I have Udemy business account. Which course I can start from? I want to crack iOS development interview. I am living in Delhi, India. I think if you're planning to do the interview, I would say, and I don't know their collection, and I don't know which course. I mean, I know that a lot of my courses are added into into Udemy for Business, but those courses, or most of my courses are, I like to call them like they are overview courses. So they are going to tackle vapor development or Swift data or whatever. Interview prep, I don't think I have a course on interview prep at this point. So if you are trying to prepare for the interview, you should look for courses that are on data structure and algorithm. So because I think most of the companies are actually going to give you those courses. So if I say data structure and algorithm, and you know what, I wouldn't really care which programming language they're using. You should get any, I guess any course will work for you, because you once you know um, arrays and all that stuff, I think it should be good for you. So over here there's the course, and again I have no idea about how good or bad this course is. Swift Arcade Data Structure Algorithms. Yeah, there we go. So I think that's it. Even says in the subtitle, how to ace your Silicon Valley style coding interview. So maybe this is something that you can look at. All right. So this is a pretty decent course, 4.8, good rating, 600, 659. So um, that is the course maybe I'll start with. And it should be available in Udemy for Business because it says premium over here. So I think that means that it is available in Udemy for Business. But you can definitely check it out. All right. Typeson is asking, any tools or hints, books or courses would you recommend connect dots in iOS development? I can develop logic UI, yet I have issues with creating overall picture or general architecture of the app. Um, I think general architecture, you will, the only way you're going to learn is by creating more and more apps. And good way to start is just keeping it simple and following what Apple is suggesting. So I know there are so many different architectures, right? I mean, when you're talking about Swift UI, people are using MVC, MVVM, MV, TCA, Redux. That's way too much. Just try to see what Apple is doing and use that approach. Now, that may or may not be the best approach, but you can always change it on the fly. You can always, like, architecture is always like, it's not like written on stone or anything. You can always change parts of it. It's always moving, always rebuilding our itself. And the question about issues with overall picture, that is that can only be resolved if you're doing like apps, like if you're building apps. And I always tell my students to have some sort of a side project that you're working on. It can be anything. I mean, what do you want to do? What do you like to do? Like, are you into fitness or cooking or gardening or these kind of things? Go ahead and build an app, and you will see that you will learn so much from building an app that you will not learn from following a tutorial, following a video, and all of those things. But you're going to learn a lot from following from building something or building an app. So that is also very important. And put the app out there, make it open source if you want to, put it on you know GitHub. So that can also act as your actual technical resume. So people or team leads can, can look at your code and say, okay, this person, this person is building pretty cool things. And you can start with building like small things. I mean, you can build an app that count your steps. You can build, obviously, all of these can be quite complicated depending on what you're doing. You can build a to-do list and then start from there. You can just build anything you want, but make sure that the project that you select, you're passionate about it. All right. If you have no passion, if you're working with like, oh, I'm going to build a budget or budgeting app, but you don't really care that much about, maintaining a budget, like a financial budget, then you will not have the drive to complete that project. So make sure that you're always, when you're selecting your pet project or side project, you are passionate about it. All right. I use ChatGPT. Could you recommend someone to help me? Actually, I don't feel myself confident enough. Um, Confident to help you with the review. I mean, reviewing the code, the problem is that if you even paste it or if you even ask a question on Stack Overflow, there is a possibility that people can vote down because Stack Overflow, I don't know if they actually review the code because then they mark the code as like, oh, this is not an answer, but this is one of the answer. But you can definitely try Stack Overflow also. You can post a question. I mean, the worst that can happen is that they will vote down your question. But that's definitely something you can ask. Or another way that you can improve it is if you become part of other you know other groups on Slack channel. So there is a Slack channel for iOS developers. I think it's called iOS developers over here. iOS dev, this one. I'll post a link over here. So on this, you can ask questions. Again, it will be dependent if they want to answer or not, or they are pretty quick in answering. So you can see over here, somebody is asking questions and they have like 14 replies. Uh, so definitely those things can definitely help. All right. Algo is good, but it is in C++. YouTube has many free algorithm questions. Okay. Then Mohit Gupta is asking, I'm having 6.5 years of experience in iOS. Apart from Udemy, are there any good resource which I can use? I had started with data structure algorithm course for Swift and that you showed just now, but didn't find that much useful. Okay. Course of Swift that you showed. Okay. Well, yeah. So another book that usually people recommend, and it's a book, it's not really a course. Why do I have to enter all of that? Let's go ahead and see TPFEYH. I think it's called Cracking the Coding Interview. That's a very popular book, and you can see it has 189 programming questions, and you can see the rating, 9,000 plus ratings. So it's definitely very, very popular. I'm just going to go ahead and say Cracking the Coding Interview. I have personally not read that book, but I have heard good things about this. Then there are other books also, like System Design Interview. Now, but I guess we're not really doing system design, but those books are also available. Data Science Interview, and there are a lot of different books available. But this book in particular is about basically data structures and algorithms. All right, and reviews are pretty good. If you see the reviews over here, yeah, it's a good book and all that stuff. So reviews are pretty good. So definitely this can be another resource. But one thing that I've noticed about these data structure algorithm questions is you have to practice a lot. And the reason is that we don't do data structures and algorithms on our daily life. I mean, if you're building some sort of application, you don't really think about data structure and algorithm, right? You don't think about, oh, I should be using array over here, or I should be using this and that, and what will be, invert binary tree and all those things, or searching in a binary tree. We don't think about those things. So although they can be important for coding interviews, I don't see much of the usage of data structure as algorithm in our daily day-to-day life, unless you're working at a very different level, meaning you are maybe at the compiler level and you're doing something at low level that you may need that information for your daily job. Um, for your daily job, if you're working with iOS developer, you hardly ever think about data structures and algorithm that much, or inverting a binary tree or searching and all that stuff. Not saying that it's not important. It's important because it's going to allow you to get the job, but I'm just saying that it kind of exercise a different part of your brain that has never been exercised before. So that's why maybe I think when even senior programmers or developers they are asked, um, yeah, for game developer, even for game developers. So game developers, I'm sure that they use a lot of data structures and algorithms depending on the game. So I think that book can be useful for passing or acing the interview. So that, and obviously that's the first step, right? All right, so then we have the Noah Gibuni is asking, when you're starting an app, what's a general guideline for setting the minimum iOS development deployment? So what I've heard from other developers, what the minimum deployment requirement, what they do is the current version. So whatever the current version is of iOS, current version, current version, and plus the previous version. That's it. Current version plus the previous version. So that's the formulas most of the developers I've talked to, they use. They support obviously the current version. So whatever the current version is and the previous version. Now sometimes it's not possible, right? Sometimes you're using a feature that is only available. Then in those cases, you will have to decide on your own, like how many people are using your current version, can you wait to use that feature, and so on. But yes, so and one before that. All right. All right, any other, let's see over here. All right, another question from Typeson is, you mentioned about Python and ML. Could you please recommend any learning path for image recognition? My partner is MD and she has a lot of microscopic images, which I rather use a model. Um, if you want to use image recognition, or if you want to do image recognition, especially when you're using iOS development, then you don't even have to type that much code. You can actually just use create.ml, and that does a pretty good job because behind the scene, create.ml is using all the advanced algorithms to detect, to detect the image, or for image recognition at least, it's doing all of that stuff. And you will see that it's actually so easy. You obviously need hundreds and thousands of images, and then you use this beautiful interface that they provided, and all you do is you label them correctly. So put all the images for tomatoes in one folder and apple in another folder, and then you go through this tool and it will automatically do it for you. It will create a model that it will spit out a model, and then that model can be embedded in your iOS application really easily. Right? So that is how they do it. And let's see over here. If you are looking for Python, so in Python image recognition, I know I have some code for it. I am, what did I use? I forgot. I think I was using Keras or something. You can use Keras, you can use or maybe I was using Torch, PyTorch. But I think if you want to stay in in the world of iOS development and you want to just do it quickly, then CreateML is a really a good tool provided by Apple that can allow you to do that. All right. Next question is, I have your Udemy bootcamp. Do you recommend going through it in a sequence, or is it okay to miss few modules like that of combined? Yeah, you can always skip. I usually recommend that you watch introductory modules because that is where the foundation is being built, especially on swiftui. And if you want, you can watch MV pattern because I think that's mostly used in the course. So after that, yeah, if you want to skip combine, that's perfectly fine. Then it becomes more like an overview course, meaning you can jump into different sections and you'll be able to learn whatever you want. So if you want to learn augmented reality or Vapor, you can just jump onto that section. All right. Another question is, what do you think about Swift on server? Seems to have matured, and after Vapor 5, Swift 6 seems to be the option to build backends. Yeah, I've been actually creating courses on Vapor since Vapor 1. So Vapor 5, it really looks nice. And I think when they introduced Vapor 1, Vapor 2, and all that, they were using, obviously, they started with callbacks and they have event futures. And now they're using async and await. And for async and await, it looks really nice now because you can type like minimum amount of code and you can get, you can get the great results. And let me see actually on my website I also have the Vapor course if you want that. This one, full stack iOS development. So this is a Vapor course. Yeah, event loop future. So no more event loop future. Now they're using async and await, and it looks it feels really nice. It looks really nice. Let me see for here. Yeah, there we go. All right. And yeah, you can watch the video over here. I think it will explain what the course actually covers. And this is a pretty long course. You can see it covers a lot of stuff. It just goes on. It just goes on and on. You can see that, right? So it's a pretty big course. All right. But yeah, Vapor definitely. Once they have updated it from event loop future to async and await, it looks much more intuitive. The UI, I mean not the UI, but the API looks much nicer. It kind of feels like sometimes that you're working with Express.js, which I already know. So it feels really nice to work on that. All right. The question is from Franklin, is your upcoming server-side Swift workshop the same as your last Vapor workshop? So let's see over here. Yes, so the content we will cover is the same one. It will be routing, MVC pattern, database integration, and finally we will consume the API. So it will be the same content will be covered. And there are some other workshops over here. The introduction to testing is on October 12th, and then Supabase also on October 26th. All right. All right. Any other questions? Oh, let's see, what time is it? Oh. Anyone played around with Skip? This one. Anyone played around with this? I've been looking into it. I actually have to create some videos on it, or it looks really interesting. It's basically you're writing Swift UI, and it's going to work obviously on your iPhone, but also on Android. So you can see on the left side, this is iOS, and this is Android. So it looks pretty interesting. And the good thing is that you're writing Swift UI code. So it's a I still have to play around with it. Like I'm sure there are some limitations on if I want to use some third party thing, what's going to happen then, right? If I want to use something, some UI part that is third party, then what? So, but it looks pretty good. Dunka, do you have any good resource on automation and CI/CD? Seems Swift Package Manager resources are not that common. I don't. I know that someone, what is Rudrank, or I don't have any resources on CI/CD. I think I did only one video on YouTube about Xcode Cloud, which Xcode Cloud, which was very basic video. But let me see. I know that. Um, Let me see. I know there's one person, and I can't remember his name right now. I'm gonna search on Twitter. Uh, I think it's this one. Trying to locate where his website is. Talks I've given. Okay, there we go. Although I haven't really done any of that stuff, this is a newsletter. Stay up to date with latest iOS CI/CD news. So maybe that can help. And let me go ahead and give you this link. There we go. All right. And I'm sure apart from that, he has articles or something somewhere. How to set up Xcode Cloud Project, how to deploy a Swift AWS Lambdas. There we go. So that's a lot of stuff. So these are the articles, I think. So you can definitely check it out. All right. You still have planned with Node.js plus SwiftUI course? Yes. Due to work, I'm quite busy, but I am still working on not while still researching on that part. But if you are interested in learning Node.js, you don't have to wait for me to complete anything because there are so many courses that are available on Node.js, even my course. But if you want to go and check out some other courses, they are really amazing courses. I think one is from Maximilian. This is a really good course, and it's a pretty long course. Let me go ahead and see. It is 40-hour course. It is available in Udemy for Business and Max course. They are always really good. So definitely Node.js course. I also have a course on Node, but I think his course is way better. So you should definitely check out his course. And he goes through all of this stuff. Now, obviously, in the course that you're looking at right now, he doesn't really integrate it with iOS because it's all for web development. But once you have the URL that is returning JSON, I think you should be able to just integrate it easily with for iOS development. It just works like any other API. All right, so that's a good course. I think I also have a course, but in my course also, I don't really show you how to integrate it with. It's just a plain Node.js course. Can't even find it. I don't know where it is, but it should be somewhere. I don't know where. All right, but his course is way more popular, obviously. All right, so the other question is, I'm also curious, what do you think about Kotlin multi-platform? I see more and more companies going that route, and Kotlin and Gradle knowledge starts to be required. I have never really used Kotlin multi-platform. I I think the closest I got to Android-ish development was by using Flutter, and I enjoyed working with Flutter. So yeah, there's so many different options now, right? I mean, you have like Jetpack Compose for the UI, you have Flutter, you can even use React Native. Now you can use skip. And you can use Kotlin Multiplatform also, but no, I have not worked with Kotlin Multiplatform. So I don't know, you know, so I have actually no idea about that. But yeah, learning things, I think one thing I've seen is maybe there's something interesting like APIs, how they are written in Kotlin multi-platform or how they use it. And all of those things, all of those skills that you learn, whether you're learning Flutter or React, are transferable. So you can transfer those skills and you can use them. In my recent video that I created, I looked at UseNavigate. UseNavigate is a way to perform navigation in in React. You can see navigate and then go to this URL. Nice and simple. It looks pretty nice. So how can we create that in our application? How can we mimic this in swiftui? So that's what I did also. I think I have a video on that, part one at least. So let me see if I can find the link for you. And the only reason I created the video is because I learned it in React. All right, so here's the video. There we go. And you can see in the video, I actually ended up creating a similar thing for in swiftui. Right here, I get the environment valued stuff, and then I can easily navigate to different places. And this is obviously for dynamic navigation, right? So if you click on something, you want to navigate maybe after logging in, maybe you want to navigate some other way. So this can be used for those things. And it looks nice. I mean, it looks exactly like React UseNavigate hook that we just implemented in swiftui. I'll go ahead and I think I may have already shared it, but maybe I'll share it again. This is part one because this part one is kind of like an introduction, obviously. We do implement it, but this will not work with your tab views. And I will have a part two to show that how it works with tab views. All right. But definitely, I mean, it's on YouTube, so you can watch it, you can share it, and if you have any question, you can write it in the comments. But this is definitely, you know, a good way to create navigation or without having a dependency on some third party for navigation, just using like the default things that Swift has provided you or swiftui has provided you. And I think it will benefit probably bigger apps rather than smaller apps. So when you're using it, I would say try to see if it even if even this is a requirement or not. All right. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, if you have any question, you can just type it out in the YouTube chat. And I just wrapped up the where's the course? Just wrapped up the Supabase course. So I'm still wondering, like, or still looking like what course I will be creating next. Will it be swiftui with Node.js, although that's, I mean, the problem with Node.js, or not the problem with having to cover Node.js is that most developers or iOS developers they don't really want to look outside the box. They just want to, hey, give me stuff related to iOS. I don't want to learn anything outside. So that's the biggest hurdle for creating these courses that are non-iOS. There is not much interest in them. Other courses that I'm planning to do is Swift testing, the new testing library. That can be a good course, and maybe even a course on Skip. I'm not sure how long that course will be because you know the setting up part of Skip is a little bit not difficult, but it's you have to do a couple of steps to get it done. But after that, it's the same old. I mean, you're just writing swiftui to create your iOS app, and it compiles down to uh, Kotlin. I think it's to Android or whatever, Kotlin native or something. Let's see over here. Jetpack equivalent to Kotlin and all of that stuff. Transpiles to equivalent to Kotlin and Jetpack Compose for Android. All right. So hopefully this tool is going to be used by other companies. I know it's a brand new tool, but it looks pretty good at this time. So we'll see. All right, everyone. Any other questions? Well, if you don't have any other questions, thank you so much for coming. Hopefully, you have enjoyed it, and we'll try to do that probably next week also. And I'll put a like an announcement a little bit ahead of time rather than a couple of hours. So I will try to do that next week also. So if you have any questions, you can come by. And let's see. And that is, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to check out my courses, you can go to azamsharp.school. You will have access to the courses, workshops, and so on. So, if you have any question, you can always reach out to me. All right. So once again, thank you everyone for coming, and I'll see you hopefully next week. Thank you.